All right, welcome back everyone for another deep dive. Today we're going to be looking at, I guess you could say the fall from grace of MyPillow.
Oh boy.
So we've got a whole bunch of articles here that we've been looking through, and I got to say, this is pretty interesting stuff.
Yeah.
I think anyone who follows business at all will be really fascinated by this story. But honestly, even if you just buy pillows, you're going to find this pretty fascinating. So we're going to dive right in.
Let's do it.
I think the biggest thing that sort of like jumped out at us from these articles was this whole payday loan thing.
Yeah.
So apparently MyPillow took out this payday loan for $1.6 million,
Uh-huh.
and they agreed to a 409% interest rate.
Oof.
I mean, first of all, like, is that even legal?
Well, it is, unfortunately. It is legal, yeah. Payday loans, they're designed for short-term emergency solutions, things like that. Often they target people who might not qualify for, like a normal bank loan or something like that.
Right, right.
But of course, that accessibility comes with a very steep price. And that price is those massive interest rates.
Right, so MyPillow is basically like jumping into the financial equivalent of a Shark Tank, right?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of seems that way, doesn't it? It really suggests that there is some level of desperation going on, which points to some potentially deeper underlying financial issues.
Yeah.
I mean, keep in mind, these loans are specifically designed to trap borrowers in a cycle of debt.
Oh, yeah.
And in this case, MyPillow has to make 50 daily payments of over $45,000, which totals out to $2.3 million.
So they're paying back almost $1 million, more than they even borrowed.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Wild.
And what's even crazier is that they're suing the lenders now, right?
They are, yeah, that's right.
They're saying that they were using predatory practices, but, I mean, do they have a case?
It's hard to say. It's a very tricky legal battle, for sure. I mean, MyPillow is going to have to prove that the lenders were specifically targeting them, knowing that they were in this vulnerable financial situation.
Right.
But I do think this brings to light that ethical gray area that surrounds payday loans.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, are they a necessary evil for some people, or are they simply a predatory system that's just exploiting people in need?
That's such a tough question. I don't even know.
It really is, yeah.
And this payday loan thing isn't even an isolated incident
That's right.
for MyPillow. Like, they've got a whole bunch of other fires that they're trying to put out.
Yeah, it's not the only issue they're dealing with. They have lawsuits coming at them from companies like Lifetime Funding, Shine Capital Group, all alleging that MyPillow's defaulted on some financial agreements.
Yeah, I saw that. That was like a $600,000 advance with one and a $2 million deal with another one.
That's right. It's a lot of money. It's a whole cascade of financial obligations.
And these are even...
Regular bank loans.
Right, exactly. These are different. These are things like merchant cash advances.
Yeah, what even are those?
Yeah, good question. So basically, imagine it as like a cash injection in exchange for like a slice of their future sales.
So let's say a company needs $100,000. The lender might give them that $100,000, but they'll take, say, like 15% of all of their credit card sales until they get back, like $125,000.
So they're basically like just taking a cut off the top, basically,
Yeah,
right?
it's a quick fix. But it often carries really high fees, which makes it incredibly difficult to climb out of debt.
So is it fair to say that like using this type of financing is already a sign that a company's in trouble?
Yeah, you could. I think so, yeah.
Like, is it kind of like using one credit card to pay off another?
Yeah, it's a good analogy. It's a sign of a company that's scrambling to stay afloat.
Right.
And all of this financial turmoil is happening while MyPillow's in the middle of another battle, a completely separate battle.
Yeah, this whole legal battle with Mike Lindell, the CEO,
Right.
and all the claims that he made about the 2020 election and that $5 million judgment that he has to pay. That just adds like another whole other layer to this.
Yeah, it does. It really does, because legal fees are like this hidden iceberg for companies. You have lawyer fees, court costs, and then you have potential settlements on top of that. It can drain resources so quickly, and it can absolutely sink a company that's already struggling financially.
So it's like they're trying to keep their business afloat while also fighting this legal war.
Exactly.
I mean, that sounds like a recipe for disaster.
It is.
So where does this all leave MyPillow?
That's the big question, isn't it?
Are they going to go bankrupt?
I mean, it's definitely a possibility. We're talking about massive amounts of debt, really aggressive repayment schedules, and then these mounting legal costs. It's a perfect storm, basically.
It really does sound like it.
Bankruptcy might be a way for them to restructure.
Mhm.
and try to salvage what's left of the business.
Mhm.
But that's a long, difficult road.
Yeah. And we have to remember, too, that this isn't just about MyPillow.
No, that's right.
Their struggles could actually ripple outwards, right?
Yeah, they could definitely impact all sorts of other people.
What about all those employees and families that...
Yeah. The employees that depend on those paychecks, you have suppliers that rely on their orders, and even the local community feels the impact when a major employer faces uncertainty.
Yeah, no, that's definitely true.
It's a reminder that these business decisions, especially financial ones, have far-reaching consequences.
This has been a real eye-opener, I have to say.
It has.
It really does raise questions about the ethics of high-interest lending,
Mm.
and also just the responsibility of businesses to make good financial decisions. But it also kind of shows how interconnected we all are, that
Oh.
even one company's struggles can impact an entire community.
Absolutely. That's very true.
So, I don't know, it leaves us with a lot to think about.
It really does, doesn't it?
I mean, if even a well-known company like MyPillow
Hmm.
can end up in this type of situation, I mean, what does that tell us about the financial landscape?
Exactly.
And what safeguards can we put in place to prevent these scenarios from happening over and over again?
That's a big question.
Yeah.
Something that we should all think about.
Yeah, so I encourage all of you out there to keep exploring this. Look into, the prevalence of payday loans
Yeah.
and the impacts of business closures, all that good stuff.
Good stuff. Yeah.
So thank you so much for joining us in this deep dive. And until next time, stay curious.